Hi everyone, welcome to the IoT Hero Show, my weekly showcase of thought leadership in the Internet of Things. My name is Tom Raftery, I'm the Global IoT Evangelist for SAP, and now, on with the show. Hi everyone, welcome to the IoT Hero Show. My name is Tom Raftery, and with me on the show today I have Ronald. Ronald, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi Tom, I'm really pleased to having me here. I'm Ronald van Loon. I'm director at Adversitement, which is a data analytics consultancy firm. I'm also advisory board member and course advisor for a professional certification company. This is called SimplyLearn. It's a US and Indian based company. And my focus, especially with Adversitement, but also I think with SimplyLearn, is to help companies to implement strategies to really become data driven and to drive business value through improving their processes and their capabilities. And my main focus is always on creating a better customer experience to become truly customer-centric. It's easier said than done, definitely, and to deliver a positive customer experience through all the different channels. And if you look a little bit to the background from this, if you look ahead, where you have some predictions in 2020, 85% of the relationships and the interactions that companies will have are without human interaction, and that's in 2020. So it's very important for businesses to be educated about modern technologies, about processes to develop a more seamless, interactive cross-channel experience. And it's also important for companies to have the knowledge and I think the foresight to really begin innovating with data and with their processes and their operation and really succeed. And you know that's more than I do, I think, in that this world is changing. So to succeed in this changing world, in this changing digital world specifically.
Cool. This is the first show back, Ronald, since the summer break. I kind of took August off and didn't publish too much in the podcast in August. But before we took the break, one of the things we had this Leonardo live event in Frankfurt, and you were one of the attendees at the event. So I wanted to bring you on the show to discuss your impressions of the show, because you're not SAP, you're external, and you went to the show and you were partly involved in it. You moderated some of the sessions there and things like that. So I was curious, first of all, what were your expectations for the show before you went there, and were those expectations not met, exceeded? What were your impressions?
Yeah, I think the most important to go to these kind of shows is to meet with peers, and especially with you, of course. Drink a beer, which you have always find the best beers with your beer app, and find best local beers. That's always a good experience and always a reason to go to an event. But a little bit more serious, and I think it's important to share insights with peers, learn about interesting new developments, speak with peers or and clients that have developed new compelling cases, and to learn about different new compelling applications. So that's what's my expectations. And on the other hand, I think it's important if you look to what we intended. We planned a keynote. So I think the keynote together with Jim Harris, together with Eric Kavanagh, and where we expected to have a platform to show this how important this holistic approach is, where Jim would go there more from the perspective from Leonardo from the two sides and would explain this. He as an artist and inventor, and Eric more from the machine learning part, and I elaborate more from the holistic approach that's required to manage your digital transformation. So I expected that there will be some feedback, some resonance in this part as well. I think that's quite important. And the third part is that I moderated. You mentioned already. I had the possibility to moderate 2 days of sessions, and there it was good to have some insights from especially what SAP has to offer in the domain of machine learning, in the domain of IoT, in blockchain, data management. I think this is important, and there were some I think, interesting speakers. Achim Kruger, he was going to explain about IoT and asset management. So how this will change the whole world, I'm quite curious about this. Amit Satur, he was, I think, explaining this whole movement from system of records to system of innovation. And I am curious because that's more or less the core, I think, of what SAP Leonardo intends and the whole background. I also had to moderate Torsten Zubi, who was going to explain about blockchain. I'm not an expert in blockchain, so quite curious about all the cases. I really like to speak. Friend of mine and influencer Diane Hitchcliffe. I think he has a similar approach on the world where you need to improve your customer experience with the help of data. There were more speakers. There was Michael Kemacher. He would give some examples about machine learning. The same with Waldemar Adams. But I think the main expectation is the main reason to go, I think, is to get feedback from these clients. And that's the nice thing about doing this moderation. You hear client feedback, client questions, concerns all day long. So it's good to understand what they really are thinking about, what kind of concerns they have, and how they see all these new developments coming towards their company and how to manage them. So that's what's my main expectations, to learn a lot, to share a lot of knowledge, and to get a lot of input, which I can share again.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, for me, one of the cool things was hearing the customer stories, because you don't often hear enough about those. And, when you hear customer stories, you're hearing, not SAP people, but you're hearing customers who have had a solution delivered and then speaking enthusiastically about it. And
this was specifically about your moderation sessions, or in general, you attended quite some sessions?
No, it was more, it was the some of the keynote ones and also some of the ones I moderated. Plus, I also got a chance to speak to Alan Amling, who is the VP Corporate Strategy for UPS, where he talked about their new 3D printing strategy. And I thought that was fascinating. Did you get a chance to talk to Alan?
No, I had to moderate for 2 days.
So did I.
So but that was interesting, definitely, as well. But I heard it as well during the dinner, some insights from this presentation. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend.
Yeah. No, it was fascinating because I shot a quick video with him on it, and I published it on YouTube, on my channel on YouTube. And basically the story is what UPS, I mean, you think of UPS as, the guys in the trucks coming along delivering your parcel. But, that's at a more consumer level. But at the larger enterprise level, they have SLAs with their customers where they say, well, look, if a particular part breaks down, we will deliver you a replacement part within X hours. And to enable them to do that, they keep stock of parts for their customers in big warehouses close to where their customers are. So what they want to do now is they want to virtualize those stocks so that they can, when they need to, not have them in warehouses, but just 3D print them and ship the 3D printed part to the customer.
Interesting.
So they're going through a whole certification process with their customers around individual parts that can be 3D printed and virtualized consequently. And they have a whole facility in Louisville, Kentucky, where they now are doing this. And they guarantee, I think it's 12-hour delivery anywhere within the continental US. And they're replicating that now. They've done that in Louisville, and they're replicating it in Singapore by the end of this year, and they hope to have it replicated in Europe as well by the end of this year. So it's really becoming a thing. It was a fascinating discussion I had with them.
Interesting.
Yeah. Did you come across any cool use cases like that, or any of the talks you moderated?
The most interesting, at least the most compelling use case, I think, is the Trenitalia case. Where they use, on one hand, machine learning, IoT, and big data to improve their maintenance and go from regular maintenance to predictive maintenance. I think this is still an interesting case. So this is one of the, let's say, the most impressive cases that are there.
Good. And so, if you're to think back, what was there anything there that surprised you or caught you off guard, or something that you didn't expect from it?
Yeah, I think what I didn't expect is I saw all these presentations. So you didn't expect to get so much input. One thing that I didn't expect, if you look how much use cases there are already in the domain and how much use cases SAP has, I think that's quite a positive challenge. To see how far the developments are, and not only in theory and on the table, on the design table, but also really in practice. I think this is something that positively surprised me. If I'm honest and look what I was missing, then I think on one hand is the GDPR part. With our consultancy firm, we're really focusing on GDPR, especially when we are in Europe. And we are based in the Netherlands and focusing on Germany and UK and Belgium and some other European countries. What I would expect also some input strategies, presentations about GDPR, as this law takes effect in May 2018, and this will, I think, it will drastically change how businesses handle customer data. Right. And whatever you do, customer data is involved, and companies they need to start changing the processes, changing technologies to become compliant and to avoid having data breaches and risking all kind of penalties that they are not being compliant with the new GDPR. And if you think, okay, I'm in the US, I don't have to bother. If you are involved with European citizens, you have to be involved, and you need to basically give the control over their personal data back in the hands of the client. And if it's only a few months from now, and if you're a large organization, you really have to start working on this. And as I said, whether you're in manufacturing, you always have to handle customer data in the end, because you're talking to customers. So you need to change your processes in this domain, so clients can themselves amend the data, withdraw approval, or request to transfer the data even to a third party, which can be your competitor. So this is something important which I was really missing. And another part, I think, what was missing is how you manage your data. So the data collection, the data security, the data governance, and maybe this is something that I haven't seen because I had to moderate and I had a limit number of, let's say, keynotes that I could attend. But I think this was something quite important, because if you look and working with data, I think the core in the end is that data collection, data quality, data governance, data security. This is really the core. And I didn't see so much attention on this. And on one hand, it's logical. We work as a data analytics consultancy firm, and people don't like to talk about it, but it's the foundation, and it's like a house without foundation is you get cracks, and probably you cannot live in it for long. And that's the same with managing data. If you don't have proper governance, you don't have proper security, you don't have proper quality, you don't know how to manage your data from all the different sources to one central source, from, let's say, old IT systems to the new ones, you don't have a foundation for your house. And this was something that I was truly missing in all the keynotes, although it's not a sexy topic to talk about, but it's definitely the most important one.
True enough. So if you, I guess first question first, will you be going back again next year?
Oh, definitely.
Good stuff. And
what do you? Easy question.
Yeah. And what are you hoping to get out of next year's one?
Yeah, it's on one hand it's hard to predict. If you look to technologies, what's there, technology development goes so fast that it's hard to predict what will be there next year. Yeah. And I think I'm not the only one. I think for the technology companies, it's also how long can you look forward? 1 year, 2 years. I think that's maybe even a maximum. And I think to be realistic, what is then the status at that moment? So how far are we with AI? How far have the development of the IoT cases been developed? What's truly realized within organizations? What can we share? What natural language recognition applications are working? So I think it will be similar, but in the next phase again. And what would be interesting to see is new concepts, new developments, like what you were explaining about this 3D printing. Is it really taking becoming mainstream, or was it just a nice idea and it's vanished? So it's basically looking back to this year, comparing to next year, and see what we predicted and what we thought was really going to happen. Did this really happen? So I think that's something that's interesting as well. And on the other hand, as I said, it's similar. Talk to clients at that time and see what kind of developments they're in, what issues they are facing, and how we can help them.
Okay. Ronald, if people are interested in learning more about you and your organization, where should they go? Where will they find you? What's the best way to get in touch and reach out?
I don't think it surprised you. Go to Twitter and search for my name, or go to LinkedIn. So on social media, easy, accessible, easily reachable. And on the other hand, you can go to adversitement.com. Most people write it as advertisement, but it's really adversitement. Or go to simplylearn.com, where I'm an advisory board member. So these are the most common channels to reach me. But via social media, just send me a direct message or connect with me, and I respond most of the time quite quickly.
Cool. Good stuff. I'll put those links in the show notes so people will have them. And with that, I'll end the show. Thanks a million, Ronald, for your time and for coming on the show.
You're welcome. It was really a pleasure, and looking forward to next time.